has to be something different, something I have not done. Because I mean, the education session on ISC I've been doing for 4 or 5 years, right? But this is Coromandel, very close. So I wrote something new for you. I actually wanted to bring a slide. I would have shown some pictures, but it's good that we have a choppies today. And because you spoke about pongal and fire, what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today are trying to give you some of the ingredients, okay, that makes a great script. I will teach you 5 ingredients that you must put into any script you write. Of course, international speech, but your college assignments, your work, unit, team meetings, and you attend. Even when you talk to your wife or spouse, for that matter. Any speech you take is to have these 5 elements, okay? And just for you to be able to remember it well, I'm going to call it the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? 5 things. Now, the difference between making food and making an ISC script is to make a nice pongal. There has to be a certain order you must follow with the ingredients. Yeah? But for an ISC, whatever I'm going to tell you, no order specifically. Okay? I recently attended a session through this Champions Incubator program. If you have not yet started attending it, go to the district website, check it out. On 8th of February, there is an in-person session to attend it, but just a couple of weeks back, a couple of days back, we had the current champion, Shamraj. Shamraj is the current ISC champion. He delivered a session wherein he says, don't start writing the script immediately that an idea comes. Wait until the entire speech comes into your head, then write. Okay? For me also, that was a revelation. Like, no, Sham, whenever I get an idea, I write it down. And then I start building from there. And Sham says, sure, Ram, that's good. But wait for the entire speech to come into you. Fully ready speech. Then put paper to pen. It will change the information. Yeah? So there are different ways to do it. So what I'm going to teach you are 5 ingredients. Let us cook them in any order. Let's put them into the boiler in any order. But remember to have all of these 5. You think? Good. So let's start with I hope you can follow these short forms also. Right? Yes, sir. If you want to come right in the middle, you can. You are today's Monisha. I hope your arms don't faint initially. You want to keep the cable to make it stand for you. Okay, water bottle. Yeah, it's fair. So. Primarily, the reason why you remember a speech in your head and you never forget the speech, any speech that you have heard, they have one central message. Not 2, not 3, not 1.5, one. Crystal clear message. No 2 ways about it. Okay? I will take some examples from speeches I have done so that you are able to recall and journey. The first speech that sort of made people look up and say, hey, this guy has potential, is a speech I wrote about butterflies. I saw a butterfly on the floor, I picked up the butterfly, and when I picked up the butterfly, I realized ants had been eating one of its wings. I thought the butterfly had died, so I picked it up. When I picked it up, the wing tore off clean. One wing came off because ants are biting that too. When I took the butterfly, the wings tore. I took it, there were only 3 wings now. Butterfly has 4 wings, right? Only 3. I thought, oh, mama, it's going to die. So I just put it down near some plant. I thought it will die. But the butterfly started fluttering. It fluttered, went on a branch, turned around and showed a pose to me. I clicked the picture. I still have that picture. It had only 3 wings, but it never gave up. So my first story was about don't give up. Yeah, usual message, but the story made it different. One message that you will never forget. So when you want to write an ISC speech, there will be very close relatives. Okay, for any of the strong message you have, there will be many close relatives. And everything will be there. But it is important for you to remember that I need to say one message. What is that one message? Okay. Then, for any speech to become complete, it's not enough if I just speak about that butterfly example alone. That butterfly is just an episode. It's just one instigating incident. That butterfly alone will not cut it. But give a good intro. Okay, then so what? And so, another episode, at least one more, must come in to keep the audience with you. Something that happened in your life. Some time, some place, some episode where you wanted to give up, but you didn't, because the butterfly inspired you. The butterfly did not have inspired you, okay? But you say the butterfly inspired. That's how you connect. But one incident or one story, one episode is great to get people curious. But if you want them to stay with you, if you want that trophy to come close to you, one more at least. Okay? And that one more has to be lived in, has to be true, has to be genuine. The bridge can be imagination, but at least one more. So at least have two stories or anecdotes. These two have to be close relatives of each other. Okay? They must be very well connected. If the connection is not there, look for some other story. See, whatever inspires you in your daily life, right? You would have seen something related somewhere, and then when an incident happens, your mind will connect these two. That is how naturally human mind will think. When it happens to you, you will remember Raghav. Hey, Raghav, right? But you need at least two connections. Okay? In my story, I had used an example of how I had very easily given up on my dreams just because I got criticized by my fellow friends. And then I was like, okay, but this butterfly, it has only 4 wings to live, only 1 month to live. Adliye 1 wing is gone. Yet the butterfly does not have the sixth sense, does not have the human capability of choice. It decides to fly. It chooses to live on. And yet something happens at home, at work, that promotion you wanted, that aspirational title you asked for, that hike, that house, that ambition you had in your life, that didn't happen to you this time, or you lost an ISC contest this time, you came second, and then you are ready to give up because you think, that's not for me. Then I said, choose better, never give up. So 2 stories. Okay? Then this one you have heard in many ways and forms. Popularly in our food industry, we call it starter, main course, dessert. Yeah, or we also call a Toastmasters term OBC. What is it?
Opening body
conclusion, right? Any script we write must have a clearly demarcated 3-segment piece. That's how kids like me in the audience stay with you. We sleep off during your body. Basically, and as a speaker, you must be conscious and understand. The audience will be with you only for 30 to 40% of the time. Even Shamraj's speech, who was there in Discover 2025? How much of Shamraj's speech do you remember?
Opening.
You will remember Sunflower. If you remember Sunflower, Shamraj has succeeded, that's all. That is how the audience will be. It's not humanly capable for us to remember 700 words. As a speaker, I can't remember also. So it's very difficult for you to remember everything. So there must be a boundary, there must be a compartment that I can journey. Sometimes I might miss the opening. But then something in your body must be really like a punch you get when you eat a chili, right? It should be there. Or your conclusion should be ultra beautiful. Or the way you present the food itself, that is why they call it pongal vada. Pongal alone is boring. Pongal vada is the matter. No? And some people are like, getty chatti only I want. So you need that visual representation so that it is easily consumable by an audience. And so when you write a script, have a specific opening piece which is all about setting the ground. Okay? You don't give too much information. You give a scene there, you give a hint there, you introduce the character, just tease the audience a little bit, don't say much. Then go to your body where you sort of develop whatever you have introduced. that character, that episode, that scene, sort of develop it, write it, make it into a story. And then when you conclude, have some knots in the body that are not fully explained. Keep some loose ends, just keep them open. You don't have energy. What happened to that butterfly eventually? Don't tell them at all. Finally, when you close, sort of bring back the butterfly and show them, hey, I saw the butterfly, it smiled at me, here is that picture. Right? Or then every time I come home, I look into that plant expecting to see that butterfly flutter again. Something like that so that the audience feel, okay, this is what I do. So the beauty is when, how many of you like strong filter coffees? That feeling in your mouth, right? After you have finished that coffee, you don't, my wife sometimes just finishes, keeps it down, goes and washes her mouth and drinks it. I said, what's the point? What's the entire point? So my wife is, why are you just sitting there? So I'm still, the coffee is long gone, possibly digested, but that caffeine in your tongue, right? The creaminess of the milk, it has to stay. So as a speaker, when you are able to give them an opening body conclusion structure, it stays. I learned music in my childhood. My music teacher used to continually keep ringing. The best music is the one that keeps ringing in your ears long after the song has ended. Any of your favorite SPB songs, right? Especially SPB. The song will be over, maybe the second song starts. Yet you are breathing in the beauty of the song that just finished. Your mind is not ready for the next song yet, but the radio keeps playing. A speech must become that. You and I can become SPB in writing. We may not be able to sing like him, but in Toastmasters, when you write a script, one sentence is enough. One sentence is enough. I'll tell you an example of a speech I did. This was the speech that took me to the district finals for the first time in my life. This was in 2018. So I love riding bike. How many of you drive bikes? You drive bikes? Okay, good. Yeah, the excitement I can see. I did something very boy-y. Okay, so I don't know if you will do it, but I do something very boy-y. What I do when you go, my house is 17 kilometers away from my office. My office is at home, 17 kilometers away. So when I have to drive, it's a long drive, 45-50 minutes. So every time I drive, I don't chumma drive. Of course, I listen to music and all that, but I engage in mock races. Random guys, what's your name? Tarun will be chumma jaya, SPB song is right. I will start and say, okay, Tarun will have a race. Tarun has no idea. I will say that school there is the finish line. And then once the signal turns green, I will drive fast, Tarun will be like jaya. I go, even I like celebrate. Okay, next year. And I do that a lot. So one day in my, when I was going to work, I was doing something. There was a Tarun and then signal and Audi showroom. I go up and celebrate, I won. That day what happened? Tarun came very close to me after I had gone fast. Came close, showed me a throttle, vroom vroom, and he went fast. And so Tarun and I engaged in a race from Nandanam to Koru for the next 40 minutes. I go ahead, he goes ahead, I go ahead, he goes ahead, I go ahead, he goes ahead. Sometimes I will, sometimes he will, sometimes I will. Just keeps going for half an hour. Through the streets, through the lanes, through the gullies, through the bridges, everywhere. And then my office is in DLM ID Park. My office is very close. And I'm telling you, okay, last stretch, there is no chance that Tarun is following me there. So I will go and turn left and I'll win. And then I crank the throttle, like do pranayama under, get the universal energy, and then I turn left and I win. And I exit only to look at my mirror and see Tarun also is entering the same. I'm like, okay, done, the race is still not done. And as I near the security and I take my ID card out to show the security, Tarun is writing ID card. I can see from the mirror both of us are same color tags. Right there. So our race is until the 5th block. That's where block 5. Okay. Now what is happening in IT parks if you have gone? There are small speed breakers. Irritating speed breakers. Not proper speed breaker. Small. Why is it even there? That small speed breaker. It's like your spouse's anger. Why are you angry right now? This is to be angry. Small speed breakers. Okay. And as we cleared the first 2 blocks, I'm realizing my bike, right, every time it's a speed breaker, it sort of stutters. 150cc is 160cc, like small gap. And so every time I hit a speed breaker, it takes me that couple of extra seconds to catch up with him and then beat him. And so I'm like irritated and pissed off. And then I'm reaching block 5 after a holiday actually, and they had actually made a new speed breaker. Okay? You know what they have done? That is the pavement, speed breaker, and then a small gap, and then a pavement. Sometimes they do a small gap.
Yeah.
Again, like your spouse's anger, why that small? You don't understand. Small gap in the pavement. And then my mind tells me, okay, every time I hit that speed breaker, right, I'm losing. So what shall we do? Take that shot. You know what? Then, okay, let's take a small gap. Let's not get stuck and then we'll go and win. So I'm balancing myself and breathing again really hard, getting the universal energy on. And then I'm just crisscrossing the roads. Right there, that small gap, I balance my bike. I put my bike in the right gear, right pace, click everything into the right space, and then just come out, look up expecting to win and exult, and then this guy didn't even care about the speed break. He just came, he went down it, and then the 2 seconds I had lost in trying to balance myself and be safe, he had won the race. And then what he did, he parked the bike, that guy, and then he came up and said, nice race, man. If you had not focused on avoiding the speed breaker, maybe you would have won. And then he left. And then in my head I was like, well, the problems we face in our lives are like these speed breakers. The challenges we face are like these speed breakers. If only we didn't think of avoiding them and just face them, we will do it. If only we didn't spend so much energy avoiding a problem. Just face it. We will do it. And the speech is called lucky number 13. So that speed breaker is the 13th speed breaker. Usually 13 is as well bad. So that's how I built the entire speech. Now why was I saying this story? Yeah, 3 acts. Okay? So there is a lovely opening there. The central message is face challenges. Right? Just face these challenges. That is your central message. 2 stories I said, right? Bike race is one full story. Now that would not have been enough. While this is a great story for me to tell you, it's a good story, sure, but how do I come into this picture? How do I connect with it? So what happened in my real life story, I bring it in. I actually was in a relationship with my wife for 5 years before I got married. But both of us the same age, right? So I was only 25 when I got married. My father still says child marriage. So when my mother-in-law called me and asked me, my wife, my child is becoming 25. It's time to get married. I said, Auntie, I'm not ready for marriage. I don't feel ready at all. And then she said, gently, you'll never be ready for marriage. Marriage is a challenge none of us are ever ready for. So just face it. And I was like, Auntie, I don't have time for all this. And then I cut this one and I came out. And then this guy, the race happens. This guy tells me, just face it. And then I go back and call my mother-in-law and say, hey, you can just face this challenge. These two didn't happen in the same period of time, but that's how you connect them. And then you have an opening body conclusion. I opened up, I said, I love racing. I introduced my mother-in-law, and then I said, I'm starting with bike. Then I said, I engage in mock races. And then you have the entire middle portion where the entire race happens. Nothing else happens, just the race. And then I finish off by bringing back my mother-in-law, by bringing back the lessons also. So that's how you place these 3 spaces so that the audience are connected with you. Okay? And already now I have given you the next part also. The part story. In any script, there are 4 pillars. Okay? These are called emotions, engagement, you add a choice to this and say humor. I'm not going to make it mandatory, but it's good to have. Structure and suspense. Any script must have 4 pillars. It must have emotions. While I was driving the bike, now all of you look at me. When I was driving the bike and telling me the story, where were you?
I was confused.
Where exactly were you?
On the bike.
Have you driven bikes on the road? Have you done mock races like me? But were you racing right now?
Yes.
In fact, she was the first to say, you saw how, through an emotion only I have lived, through a monkey business I did. Perhaps the most disciplined Toastmaster in this room says I was racing with Coromandel. That is the power of you as a speaker. Can you write this? Yes. How? Something that you have really done in your life. If all that you have done in your life is sit in the last row, make that your story. That's the problem. If all that you have done is just sit in the last row, it's still fine. You are seeing a life that nobody else has seen. Right? Someone sitting in the last row, only he or she can see the 360 degrees. Someone in the first row can never know the view of the last row, right? So no matter who you are, no matter what life you have lived, whether it is ordinary or extraordinary, you can become an SPP in Toastmasters. One sentence is all it takes. One good sentence, the audience will laugh. Hey, forget the trophy. Okay? I'll tell you something. Satya, you know why Satya has invited me? Yes, I won the International Speech Championship at the district level in 2022. Yes. But you know my journey? I started in 2012. I contested in 2012, 2013, 2014. 2015 I got married.
You have all the time contesting with your wife.
Yes. Different games, different competition. 2016, 2017, 2018 I contested. 2019, 20 I played the year later. 21 I had no skill. Sorry, no, 2020 I had no skill. Then 2021 and then 2022. In my 8th attempt, I succeeded. And then next 2 years I didn't contest. I had no skill, no idea, no knowledge. 2025 I contested again. Accidentally found myself in 3 finals. There are 4 contests, in 3 I was in final. Actually accidental. Because PT I didn't win in area. The winner in the area contest decided she cannot travel to Virudhunagar. So I got to contest, I cleared division. So it was purely accidental. There were 3 finals. I didn't win any of them. So if you think Satya has invited me here because of that one championship, no. She's invited me here because I have always turned up. Because of every time I have lost. Because success, right, gives you a great night's sleep. But defeat does not give you sleep. The fire inside you, right? If you have ever gone into the kitchen and messed up a dish, until you make it right, no, you cannot stop.
Yeah.
So don't ever think, I put that Toastmasters saying that. Never think like that. Okay? Always remember, just these ingredients in make for a great formula. And so you have to play with emotions. Who you are as a person, that originality if you bring, you can make a great. I know at least yellow card should have come. We can show me the yellow card for the record. Okay. Then of course, if you can add humor, add. It's not mandatory that humor must be there. Humor is like sugar in your food. There are some who like only spicy dishes, right? How many of you go to the restaurant and order malai kofta? Yeah? You see? So humor is like malai kofta. It's sweet. You need it. If it's there, it's okay. If it's not there, it's fine. You need some spice. You know, how many of you go in and order perhaps the spiciest dish on the menu? Spice. To make spice register, they add a tinge of sugar. Like when you really make a spicy dish, they add a sprinkle of sugar, especially in five-star restaurants if you go, because that sugar and that salt add, and if you make some really sweet dish, except in payasam, any other sweet dish you make, a pinch of salt, just throw it in there. That's what humor is. It's good to have, not mandatory. I am not a good prepared humor guy. I cannot write a joke and deliver. I told you I was in 3 finals, right? There is a reason for it. The 4th contest I have never contested. Always failed. Actually contested but always failed. Prepared humor doesn't come for me. I cannot write a joke and deliver. But on the spot, if somebody cracks something, I use it. Like in the bike race, right? I actually said, at the start I introduced my mother-in-law. And then at the end I say, now I am married and I have a 2-year-old daughter. This is how I delivered it. And suddenly somebody in the audience, one person clapped. That was my moment. I was like, yeah, please clap. My effort only. And the entire audience rolled up. The entire audience cracked up. That is what made me win that year, I know. So that is what happens with me. That's my style. I cannot write humor really. So don't worry about it if you're not a humorous person. It's okay. But have engagement. Engagement can come from a rhetorical question. Have you ever had a coffee? Immediately, so many of them, she was like hyper excited. Right? Exactly. I can see it in your eyes actually. The moment I was talking about the creamy milk and the decoction, and she was like, the door around is closed now. Right? That is also engagement. Somehow I hope you win. And I see that in this entire audience, there is one person who is ultra silent. Just Tarun. So what did I do? I was like, what is your name? And then when Tarun says, and I keep saying Tarun's name, he cannot sleep now. So some kind of an engagement. Structure. Structure is nothing but your opening, which has to be powerful, close, which has to be a band. Now I say this race in a hyper energy, okay? And then when the message comes, I go ultra soft and as if I'm not interested in telling that message at all. I go back. I say, problems are like speed breakers. That's it. I don't use any more words. Problems are like speed breakers. Just face them. Enough. In all of your eyes, your own husbands and wives are coming. Problems are like speed. No, that one line will make you own it. And then you will all go on your journeys. As a speaker, I will not bring you back. I will let you be there. I will close and I will go. Then you keep thinking of that. Right? That is how you bring in structure. And suspense must always be there. In my speech also, you have no clue as to what is happening at the finish line. Every time I am speaking, I am giving you hints that hey, sometimes I go ahead, sometimes he goes ahead. There is no given. So you want me to win. And then I am saying every time I hit a speed breaker, I am slowing down. And then I am saying there is a small gap. In your mind, you should already know. In the gap, it will slow you down. Is what your mind, what? By being the speaker I am diverting your attention. Right? And then and this can happen to all of you if you move it all down. Okay? So remember the 4 things. Which leaves me with the 5th and the final ingredient. It's called the 5-star moment or the 5-star experience. Okay? If you have everything else but not this, forget winning a trophy. Okay? For the Tamil outcome for this, the humanly understandable language, is it's called aha moment. Wow, somewhere that moment. With the butterfly, it's when I said the butterfly had only 3 wings, it's going to die, ants bit off. Every bit I explain, and then when I drop the butterfly, it flutters and turns back. That is all of your eyebrows joining. With the bike, it's like challenges are like speed breakers in life. Your eyes joining. And then I write a speech about such and such, which is in 2021. In my mind, that's the best speech I have ever given. It's about my own dreams, about how I had dreams, but how I didn't pursue. I failed, but I blamed others for my failure. Not cricketer, I didn't become a cricketer, I blamed my father. I didn't become great at work, I blamed my manager. I didn't win trophies, I blamed the Toastmasters judges. So about how every time I lost, I was blaming someone else until I realized, hey, I should have fought back. So when the moment strikes me, it strikes the audience also. And then eventually when I won the trophy in 2022, I gave a speech called Rat in the House. Nothing in your houses has a rat come into your house.
Yes.
A rat came into my house. That's all. Happens to you also, no sir? That only I got a trophy with, sir. Rat came into my house. Are you married, sir? Yes, sir. Sure, no? Sure, sure. When a rat, let's say a rat comes into your house, what will your wife say to you?
She will say to
Okay, exactly same thing my wife was saying. Carbon, there is in this 1200 square feet house, there is room only for one of you. Either you or the rat. Chase the rat, catch the rat, or you go. The first day I tried, I chased it away. Then I said, hey, I chased the rat. Actually, I asked to catch the rat. Listen to the wife for once. Next day I caught the rat. So and then I had a conversation with the rat. My wife keeps chasing me, my boss keeps chasing me, my kids keep chasing me, VPE keeps chasing me, timer keeps chasing me. So everybody keeps chasing me. So you and I have the same idea that we keep getting chased. And then the rat looks at me and says, sure, but you are the one who trapped me. It's a Kamal Hassan kind of speech, okay? Not easy to understand. What I was saying is, of course, people chase you, your wife chases you, your boss chases you, your VP chases you, the timer chases you. But how do you react? When your wife chases you, you scold your kids. When your boss chases you, you throw that pressure onto your teammates. When your VPE chases you, you do jugaad, you do unquality speeches. When the timer chases you, you say 5 more minutes. So what I was saying is, you think you are the victim, but you are actually the one victimizing others. So ask yourself, are you the rat or are you the trap? That is the story. Okay? But the message might be very complex, but I have all these other pillars. That when I started talking to the rat, it was still fun, but when the rat spoke back to me, it was like, some of that. When I asked, are you the rat or are you the trap? That became the idea. So every script you write must have this 5-star. You know what you need to get this? You need a mentor. Somebody who's been there, done that. Alone, none of us can come up with it. I have not been able to bring this 5-star moment in any of my speeches except the speed breaker speech. In all of the others, including my world championship in the international speech championship speech, I needed the help of a mentor. I take my script and share to them. They identify, sometimes Jay, sometimes Sheila, sometimes Zara. They say, hey, look at this piece. This appears outstanding. Make it big. Expand it, elevate it, highlight it. So you need someone else who is not in that story, because it's your own baby, right? Every letter you have written is your baby. You are very personal. Hey, this is super, this is super, this is super. Somebody else has to come and tell you, hey. Okay? So let's summarize one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the ingredients you need in any order. Okay? You don't have to start with one at all. You can start anything. The 5-star comment also can come first, no problem. But you need to have all of these and then put them in proper jigsaw pieces. Your speech must have one central message. Not 1.5, not 2, not 3, not 5. One central message. It must have at least 2 stories or anecdotes. Connected anecdotes. Not randomly, loosely connected, very tightly coupled anecdotes. 3-act script for sure. Opening, body, conclusion. Starter, main course, dessert. Right? Have these 3 parts very clearly visible. Remember your 4 pillars. You must have emotion. Must have engagement. / humor if you can. Have a structure to it. Make your opening brilliant. Make your climax really powerful. And and then in between throw in a little bit of that spice so that people don't disconnect with you. Have proper suspense. Don't reveal everything at the beginning. Some people have titled it, a friend in it is a friend in me. Okay, my speech was done. You don't need that speech at all, right? So I said lucky number 13. What do you understand by lucky number 13? Nothing. The others, because Sachin. Nobody understood what Sachin was. Then I say, my dream was to go into Chepauk cricket ground. I was born and brought up in Triplicane, very close to the Chepauk ground. So I used to keep hearing this audience screaming. Right? And one day I went in 6th standard, 50,000 people screaming, Sachin, and then a small 5 feet guy walks in. One day I should walk in and people should scream at me. It was my dream. Right? What are you laughing about? Hello? Timer also mentioned. But that was my dream. That is what I wanted. I wanted to win. I wanted the center of attention. I wanted people to scream Raghavan. And then rat in the house. Nothing prepared people for the flip where I asked, are you the rat or are you the rat? And then this year I wrote a speech called Pegasus. It's about constellation. Then eventually I say it's okay to fall. It's okay to fail. Just get back. It's okay to fail. That was my message in 2025. So ensure you have suspense. Don't reveal everything. Let it come. And finally, do go to a mentor. Get your 5-star moment there. It must be aha. It is wrong. Do all of it. You have your good coffee. Thank you so much. And because of the time, we don't have time for Q&A. I will be around. We can